All right, for more on the music industry, we're joined by John Hazard. He's the director of Contently Studio. John, good to see you. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Michelle. Good to be here.
Well, John, as we just saw, Adele, one of the top selling artists, has said that her new album 25 will not be streamed on the likes of Spotify and Apple. Earlier this year, we saw Taylor Swift coming out against Spotify, saying she doesn't want her music streamed there either. And Prince was also very vocal, bashing streaming services, saying that they, quote, suck artists dry. Is this a beginning of a trend?
I think it is a small trend. You're seeing artists take their stake and have their say. I think it's interesting to look at what they're trying to accomplish. Adele and Prince don't like streaming and just refuse to participate. Taylor Swift had a protest with a particular marketing tactic. Her protest was more successful. She wants to participate, she just wants to set the terms.
But if more artists do follow this trend and refuse to participate in the streaming trend, could it be a game changer?
It could be. They're the supply and we're the demand. The platforms are the provider. The artists hold the supply and they could choke the supply from the platforms.
Well, you can't really blame the artists because a streaming service isn't that profitable for them. I mean, very recently, the U.S. Copyright Royalty Board just raised the streaming rates that services like Pandora need to pay to 17 cents per 100 songs. That's for the free streaming, which is very little. Then that goes to the copyright collectors, then to the music labels. So what do the artists actually get from these streaming services?
Everyone gets a cut before they do. It's similar to the old radio model. What's even more troubling is with the streaming platforms, with the subscription models, it's different. The artists get 70 cents of the entire subscription model, which is far less reliable, and it comes down to something like 0.7 cents per stream.
It doesn't seem like people are making a lot of money with the streaming model. And there are questions like, can a company like Pandora actually be profitable? The stock is down 20% for the year. 95% of the subscribers on Pandora are free subscribers. And if it's all coming down to advertising, supporting these websites, these streaming sites, and these artists, is that enough? Is the music industry able to really be fed from advertising sales alone?
It's not enough. And typically with technology, the technology outpaces the way it's paid for. Right now, they're relying on advertising. I think advertising is a tired model. Luckily, Pandora in particular is attempting to experiment. They're trying to be innovative with the way they allow brands to sponsor the way you listen. I think all the momentum is with the subscription services.
John, I personally am a free subscriber on these sites. And as we said, it's all coming down to advertising dollars. Now, that seems to be the cornerstone of the entire internet model. All this free content coming from advertising revenue, that advertising pie is now being sliced into so many thinner pieces that now have to feed so many different industries. Surely this isn't sustainable.
It's not sustainable, and users want content for free. It's incumbent upon the brands that put this out there to invent a new way to pay for it. I believe subscription is the method that will take us into the future.
Well, subscription, even though it does seem to be leading the way, it's actually not very profitable because the music industry as a whole is doing very, very badly. Last year, worldwide income dropped to under $15 billion. To put that in perspective, in 1999, it was $26 billion. So if this digital revolution continues, can we just expect to see the decimation, the decline of music industry revenues?
We may indeed see a decline of the industry revenues. It'll be a different way of operating for everyone involved, from the platforms to the technology, the cable companies that bring the pipes into your house, and the artists themselves. It may mean different payrolls for everyone.
It's not a pretty picture. At least when you had the iTunes model, the pay per song, there was a more steady generating revenue mechanism. Can the streaming concept be reversed, or are we too far down that road?
We're too far down that road, and users love streaming. We thought downloads were the future in 2000, but it turns out they were just a bridge to something else.
But you say users love streaming, but if you look at the reports from the Recording Industry Association of America, there's actually a very interesting trend, and that is vinyl. Vinyl's making a comeback. In fact, it's the fastest growing sector in terms of sales in the music industry. Doesn't that tell us something maybe?
Well, part of Adele's protest was that streaming had made music disposable. And I think there's a segment of the market that wants to possess what they're listening to. Vinyl is the epitome of that. But all the momentum among average users is with the streaming. It should surpass downloads early next year.
Okay, so John, where do you see the future of the music industry going next year and the next 2 years or so?
I see a lot of convergence. Right now, there's single platforms dominating markets. Amazon dominates books, Netflix and Hulu dominate television and video, and Apple and Spotify dominate music. Users want to pay one subscription. I see convergence there. I see convergence between the music labels. I see convergence between the artists.
And just a general revenue decline for the industry at large.
Probably.
All right. Well, we're going to have to leave it on that note. Thank you so much, John Hazard, Director